During the 2008 financial crisis, it was observed that many chief executives went home with huge salaries even though their companies were suffering. This issue of executive pay got a lot of spotlight, and a debate was started in which it was asked whether it's justified that the chief executives get such high pay. According to Financial Times, since 1978, 8 of the top 350 companies saw a pay rise of 1000% for the chief executives, whereas for the typical workers, the pay rise was only 11%. The increase in salaries for the chief executives was not dependent on the performance of the company. In 2014, the average earnings of CEO was $16.3 million, which was 300 times more than what a typical worker earns. In 1970, this ratio was 30:1. According to Financial Times, the salaries of the chief executives has been increasing over the years. It has been increasing even if their companies were suffering. Hence, the salary of the chief executives is not dependent on the performance of the company. Also, it was observed that the share of the chief executives in the long term investment plans has been increasing since 2003. This brings up the question that are the CEOs paid high so that they can take the companies to new heights, or is this money for personal gain? There are arguments which say that just like CEOs, there are other professions such as nurses who work hard and take a lot of risk, but they are not paid high enough. There are further arguments that the pay gap between CEOs and median level employees is very high and is unjustified. There are also concerns that the system is not regulated properly. That is, the CEOs can circumvent the system and fool the stakeholders and shareholders and go home with a lot of money. Furthermore, there are concerns, and it has also been seen, that the performance of the company and the pay of the CEOs are not necessarily related. The counter arguments say that CEO is the most important person in the company, as he's the one making strategic decisions and his job involves high risks. He's the one on whom the success or the failure of the company depends. It is also argued that there is a dearth of good talent at the top, and the shareholders are ready to pay any amount to get hold of good talent. An example, Aaron Angler, the CEO of Burberry, when he quit his job, the company lost $500 million in value. Similarly, it can be seen in the case of Samsung. Samsung was the one who decided to enter into smartphone industry, but Sony didn't decide that. And today Samsung is way ahead of Sony and has grown a lot as a company. Further, it has been argued that if the company performs well, the workers will be paid higher. It is the CEO who's the driver and he can take the company to great heights. It is said that a good CEO is not worth the money that he's paid. According to the debate on Sky News, there was an argument that if you take the total amount of salary paid to the top CEOs of FTSE 100 companies, it was way less than the total salaries of all the workers combined in general. In India, the problem of executive pay is not very high, but it can increase in the future. However, India has seen its own share of scandals and unjustified executive pay rise. Onkar S. Kanwar, the chairman and managing director of Apollo Tyres, saw a rise in his salary by Rs 11 crores, even though the profits of his company decreased by 2.73%. In comparison to median employees, his package was 1069 times higher. In the year 2012, the company Kingfisher Airlines was crashing down. But in the year 2013, the CEO Sanjay Agarwal got a salary of Rs 3 crores. This happened even though the company was under a debt of Rs 7,000 crores, and the salaries of other employees except for top executives had fallen drastically. There are certain suggestions or possible recommendations given by experts on the matter of executive pay. Some of the experts suggest that it is not a very productive way to aim at cutting off the salaries at the top. This is a very counterproductive way of reducing the wage gap. Instead, the focus should be on lifting the employees at the bottom and understanding the factors that are stopping them from earning high wages. Some of the factors suggested which contribute to the low wages of the bottom level employees are poor economic performance by a country, high housing costs, and high childcare costs. If efforts are made to improve these factors, the bottom level employees will be earning better. Other recommendations suggested are it is the responsibility of lawmaking agencies and corporations together to maintain good governance. Infosys, an Indian company, had linked the salary of its former CEO to the performance of the company. The target of the company for the year 2021 was rupees 20 billion. Other companies can also use such tactics to maintain good governance. In the Indian context, the performance of the company decides the remuneration of the executives. However, there is no clear understanding as to who decides the remuneration. The shareholders and the remuneration committee act as compliance in the companies. However, there should be an independence given as to who decides the remuneration and what are the limits of executive remuneration. Though it is the responsibility of the law to look into good governance, there are other actors who are responsible for maintaining good governance in companies. Institutional investors should use their power to vote for making responsible decisions. Other actors are the advisory firms who should look into the ill practices or any inappropriate executive remuneration. I hope that you enjoyed today's topic. I will come back to you again with more informative and useful information. Thank you.